So the loss yesterday um, was tough. It was hard to watch the team lose how they did, especially right there in the last couple seconds with the drop and just no real chance there. But there was a chance, there was an opportunity, and obviously it didn't go our way. But as a fan since 2017, watching the team rally like they did and almost pull it off. Obviously, we would have wanted to win and win that playoff game. But the fact that I'm sitting here right now talking about the Panthers losing in the playoffs at the end of the season after 8 seasons of being really, out of the playoffs, week 15, week 14, is pretty cool. And it feels awesome and it feels great. And I'm very grateful to be talking about that right now. This late into the season in January, our season didn't end until January, which is something that we haven't said since 2015. Um, it's cool, and I agree with Dave Canales that there is no moral victories, but I think it would be it wouldn't be smart to not enjoy the fact that we've come so far as an organization, as a team, and as fans too, because obviously, like everyone's seen the video from the Falcons game back in 2023 when there was like no one there. It was raining against the Falcons. We ended up winning that game. So it's really cool to be sitting here and talking about the playoffs and the Panthers in the same sentence. I do believe that the Panthers gained a good amount of respect across the league, across the national media, and shows that hey, we're building something down here in Carolina. We're really working towards building a program, and that's all because of Dave Tepper and what he's been doing. I know a lot of people don't really agree with the way that things have gone and how he's done things, but it is hard to build a winning program. You look across the league, there's been owners that have been around for a long time. There's been GMs that have been in that position for a long time, and he's brought in a GM that has looked like he's on the right track. We have a head coach, Dave Canales, that has brought a 2-15 team to the playoffs in his second year. It's great, and it's not just hey the pieces were ready for you, coach, and you take us to the playoffs. All we've been missing is a head coach. It's no, you brought in a coach to a broken system, to a broken team, and he and his staff has brought life and competitiveness back to Carolina football. And there is a brand of football that's being built off resiliency, determination, of attrition and grit and violence in the run game. And it's something that they're trying to build and continue to trend upwards as the next season comes on. I think last night us as fans and the national media, I think we saw that. Um, I'm not gonna sit here and talk about the game because my specialty is more so talking about the big picture stuff as opposed to talking to the film and the play calling stuff like that. There's other channels that do that, but if you want to talk more so, big picture things and narrative things, that's what I like to talk about. If you want to learn more about football, Kurt Bankert's book here, Think Like a Quarterback, talks about the ins and outs of football and scheme like that, breaks it down using Madden icons. It's really, really good. Definitely recommend you reading this. And I like reading this book because it gets me kind of just a little bit more literate with football and makes these takes and this kind of my perspective comes from understanding football to an extent. But that's not what I want to talk because I'm not a football guru. I'm not a coach. I'm not a offensive play caller or defensive play caller or anything like that. So if you want to go there, find someone else. There's a bunch of film guys that break it down. And you can learn ins and outs of football. But for me, I'm just talking about narrative, and more so just like the emotions of it and just kind of my perspective on it. And I hope to share that with more Panthers fans and NFL fans across the league. So that being said, let's chat about kind of just where we are at right now as an organization. So I believe right now the Panthers they're not in make a Super Bowl run. They're in build and get back to the playoffs run. And then I believe we have the opportunity to get to the Super Bowl within the next 2 or 3 years. I think we can get deep in the playoffs, but I think what we want to become is a consistent playoff team. And consistency comes from playing good in the regular season. So, in order to become a consistent playoff team, you have to be a consistent regular season team, which we have not had in a very, very long time. I don't think we really, as a Panthers, I don't think we really even have had a consistent regular season tenure for a while. And I think the NFL is changing right now, where obviously everyone saw this season. It was very competitive. A lot of games came down in the last second. And just, your typical, Titans of the industry were not winning. Kansas City was bounced out pretty early, which was big. Buffalo's still in there. New England's resurgence is coming back. Chicago going their way. And building up their organization to now have just been the Packers after being down for a while was insane. You got Denver coming back and making resurgence as well. And the Super Bowl champions, the Philadelphia Eagles, are kind of going through their motions and doing their things, but they are also in the playoffs. So there is a level of consistency that needs to be built. And it's not about being dominant. I think we look for these teams that are 11-5 or 12-4, whatever it is, and their dominance, and it's the balance is like, oh, wins and losses. But I think in the Panthers case, we had such a dominant run in 2015 with that 15-1 season, and that's the goal and that's the standard. I don't believe that's the standard anymore. I think we have to let go of the 2015. And I wasn't around the 2015 season. I watched the Super Bowl and was just like, oh, cool. Like I like my favorite color is blue. Let's root for the Panthers. And my best friend is a Broncos fan, so I was kind of pulling for the Broncos. And I was like, it is what it is, right? So I wasn't around in 2015, so I don't know what it's like. So I'm speaking with ignorance of that run and how that felt like. But logically speaking and looking at the facts, the team, the ownership, the personnel is not the same. It's a completely different team. And to hold this team to that standard is unfair because we don't have the same playmakers. The NFL has changed, the game has changed. It's not the same. So I'm looking at it like this. The standard now for the Carolina Panthers is wild card round. Wild card round, winning the division. That's the standard because it's been done. If we don't win the division and we don't go to the wild card round, we're below the standard. So I'm cementing that right now. I believe that is the actual standard. I believe that's where we need to get to as a team next season. Now, when it comes to coaching and when it comes to personnel, the thing that I love has been consistency in personnel, which ever since the Ron Rivera firing, we have not had that. I can't remember the last time where we had consistent personnel. I don't remember. I don't remember. I think Matt Rule with Phil Snow, and Joe Brady. I believe that was what it was, and then Ben McAdoo becoming offensive coordinator under you know Steve Wilkes, and I don't remember who was the defensive coordinator at the time, but we've had a lot of interim people that didn't translate. I believe that with 2022, or excuse me, 2024 season, 2025 season was the first back-to-back season where we had, if all or if not all personnel, coaching, players back, same system, all thing, and we saw the fruits of that, right? Same messaging, same kind of play style. We saw growth, and I think that right there is what I've been looking for as a Panthers fan, and I think that's where we're going. I think that's the biggest thing is just creating consistency. I think we all felt the roller coaster of the win loss, win loss, win loss, win loss, loss loss loss, whatever it is. And we want consistency. We want back to back wins. Throughout the season, we want to actually win the game that gets us to the division. We don't want to rely on someone else. So I think that's where we are right now. So to wrap this up, I really do think that the game last night shows that we're on a uptrend and we're building, and now we just have to hope that in the off season we do what we need to do and we address the things that we need to address and we go from there. So my goal this year is to really be active in the off season, be a part of the conversation, talk draft, talk off or talk free agents, talk about what I believe we need to do as a team for that, and we'll see what happens. So stick around, and we'll see you throughout the off season. Keep pounding.